through this real quick. Actually recorded this earlier and it didn't record the audio, so trying to throw this up again before I leave for vacation. So I'm going to share my screen, and you should be able to see my Blackboard shell. All right, so I'm going to enter student preview mode so I see exactly what you're seeing. So the purpose of this video is just to sort of give you an idea of the layout of Blackboard. Some of you may be really familiar with Blackboard Ultra and some may not be. So because we do have some students from other campuses, other colleges, I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that you understand the idea of the class. First of all, I do want to say that I know that some of you are worried about how you do on these quizzes and all this stuff. Those of you that have me for an instructor, you pretty much know it's not about the grade that you get so much as the content and how much you get from it. So this class is no different. If you've never had me before, then you know this may be a little different than what you're used to, but the idea is that you learn the material, that you learn how to flip through these books, that you learn how to find stuff, that you learn how to identify keywords, and that you do well on the test. If you do all those things, you participate in this class, you're learning as you go, your grade in this class you won't have to worry about it. And so you just do what's required. Most of this is participation type stuff anyway. Just by participating, you're going to learn the material. So don't sweat the grade. Try to get through the stuff, get through the modules. Don't just try to do the minimum and see what you can get by with. Be prepared for the test, because this is one of those things that that can set you up for success sooner than later in this field. Because if you have a past test, that makes you more employable, that makes you more promotable, and makes you be licensed quicker. So let me get started. The first thing is the welcome module, and I may go in and actually change some of the titles of these, but there's a syllabus quiz over the syllabus, so that's where that's located. A couple of questions, not many, basically just participation, but it is due pretty soon, so you'll need to make sure that you're getting that done. And that just shows that you are participating in the class, that you're logging on, you're able to get into this, and you're able to complete an assignment. The next module is instructional videos, PowerPoint presentations, and stuff. And so this is where I'll put anything, including this video, that would be a resource, a video that you would want to look at later. And then I may also put it in other places, but this is your kind of, laying out how the books work. The IMC walkthrough is just a video of walking through that International Mechanical Code book. The Kentucky HVAC laws and regulations, that's the same thing there. The NFPA 54, that's your fuel gas code book. Just going through that. Matthew Watkins, the instructor at the Maysville campus, actually did that video, so you should be able to check that one out as well. And then here's some information on gas piping, venting, just some important things that you'll see a lot of on the test. There will be quite a few venting questions, some piping questions, a lot of gas type stuff. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to close this module out, or minimize it basically. So if you're not used to Ultra, everything is right here. It's really user friendly. It's pretty easy, but it may be different than what you're used to. So important information. You'll actually have to click this link again, go into this important information, and then, oh no, I've got a kid that's screaming. Hold on, let me shut this door. Sorry about that. So this is where you'll find the laws and regulations. This link up here, it's just a different link. I don't know why I did it that way. Testing information, apprenticeship equivalencies, and all that. So just some important stuff for licensing and for the test. So check all that out, please. It will be to your advantage if you do. There's no assignments in that. So the only assignment to this point in those first preliminary modules is just that syllabus quiz. Everything else is just information. Once you get to module 1, this is where your assignments will start. And so you're just going to work through these in order. Start with module 1, work through it, and then work your way through the rest. Pretty sure there's an intro to ACR 290, which is also located in that instructional videos module. The exam registration is your first assignment, and so what you'll do is you'll click on this. If you click these three dots over here, it will say download original file. If you click that, it should pull up that file. I'm assuming you can still see this. If not, just use your imagination, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what you can see and what you can't on the screen share, but so you're going to go to pearsonview.com, follow all the step-by-step to get this registered, sign up for your exam. You got to create an account and all that good stuff. Once you've signed in for the exam, you've picked a date. You have to pick a date that's before the end of the class period. So the class is through August. So obviously you don't want to schedule the class in September or your test in September. So you have to do it sometime during the course. I would probably try to do it sometime within the next 6 weeks. Just so you don't feel like you're running out of time, but at the same time, give yourself time to study. So don't rush into it. Don't do it in 2 or 3 weeks. But if you can sit down and run through all this stuff and you feel like you're ready, do it. Go ahead and get it over with. Don't wait until the end of July if you're ready now. So if you sit down for a few days and kind of get familiar with this, I think, or with the practice tests and stuff, I think you'll be fine. And so once you've done that, you go through all this, you're going to get a email confirmation, and it says send the confirmation emails to me, but also you have to submit that as an assignment. So I'm going to show you where you're going to do that at. Once you get that email, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can just copy and paste that email to a you could actually copy and paste it into the assignment, I guess. So you're going to click this assignment, and it's going to say journeyman exam registration. It's worth 100 points, view assessment. And so you could actually go in here and copy and paste that information, or you could copy and paste it into a Word document, save that document, and link it as an attachment into this file, or that file into here. You could add the content through this link as well. You could add it as an image if you did like there's a little thing called snipping tool that will allow you to do like a copy and paste. So you open up the snipping tool and you say, most computers have it. You just type in snipping tool in your little start menu and you'll find it. And you hit new, and then you say if this was the part that you were wanting to copy. You just select that, hit the little copy button, and then put it in wherever you want to put it, just as a paste, just basically just like you would a picture. So that's an easy way to do it. But I need some sort of documentation that shows when you're going to take the test, where you're taking the test, and that you've registered. So that is your first major assignment. And then submit that, and I can grade it. All right, so that's it for Module 1. Module 2. HVAC review quiz. This is just some general information, stuff that may or may not show up on the test, but kind of gives you a good idea of some of the basic questions that could be on there. And, it's always good to have a good refresher. So this should be stuff that hopefully I would want you to do this without your book. You can use the textbook. You're going to be able to take your refrigeration textbook with you. But ideally, a lot of these questions are the type of questions that hopefully you won't have to use that book for, because these should almost be common knowledge. If it says, the red hose on a set of manifold gauges goes to the what, you should know that, where that would go. Shouldn't have to look it up in a book. If it's an Ohm's law question, there will probably be Ohm's law questions on there, a couple. They'll be pretty basic, but it may say, 120 volts, a, 20 kW resistance heater will draw how many amps. And so you should be able to do your Ohm's law formula. So know those by heart. E equals I times R, and P equals I times E. So just know those, and then be able to move those around to find whichever one you're looking for. All right, so that's that one. So those hopefully will save you some time, because remember, time is of the essence. And so you have 30 or 3 minutes per question, 60 questions. And so if you could save 30 seconds on a question because you know it, or you could save 2 minutes on a question because you can figure it out really quickly without having to look it up, do that, because you may need that time on another question that does require more research into the books. The next quiz, or the next module, covers the Division of HVAC regulations. So this is those 2017 laws and regulations that I mentioned, and it's up there in the important information. This is basically what you go by as a licensed HVAC technician, journeyman, apprentice, master, whatever. Tells you what counts toward your hours, how to submit your time, how long you have before your license go out of effect, all those things, what you can and can't do, what you can and can't count toward those. So um, I would get familiar with that. You can do the quiz, that's great, but the quiz is just to get you started looking through there and seeing what's in there. This is where you could also find out, like, if there's anything else that you've done in the past. For example, if maybe you worked maintenance at a factory, you might be able to look in the exemptions for things that were exempt from licensure and possibly count some of that time as equivalent time. So it may save you some time working as an apprentice so you can get your license. So just run through that. Pretty straightforward. Blueprint section, there will be a few blueprint questions at the end. There's a blueprint that's linked in this quiz. You can just pull up that link and answer the questions that go along with it. The last 5 questions or so of your test will be some sort of blueprint or diagram questions. So those are usually kind of a relief when you get to those, because it's a whole lot easier to look at a picture than it is to flip through the code books like you have been for the last 3 hours. So that's the idea behind that, just to kind of get you familiar with looking at some plans. This isn't the plans that will be on the test. This is just one that I found, and it's just to kind of get you used to looking through it. And the last module is the big one. So you may have already looked at this or noticed this or saw it in the announcements. You complete at least 8 practice tests. So what does this mean? This means out of these 16 tests, you would be asked to do at least 8 of those. Now, I know that's still a lot. These take a while. It's basically doing the journeyman test 8 times. But the idea behind that is you get so comfortable with this that when you walk into the test, you're ready. And you're almost sick of it. You're so ready. So there are 16. You can do more than 8. You can do all 16 of them. You can go back and do them again. It doesn't matter. I'm not grading these right versus wrong. They will give you a grade when you're done, and it will show you what you missed and all that, I think. But the main thing I want you to see is getting used to your time, getting used to the format of the test. These are just some that we made up. So, this isn't the test. Don't mark these in your book and think, oh, this was on a practice test, so it's got to be on the test. It's not. Some of these you may or may not find. So you got to learn when to just move on, because 3 minutes per question, time's ticking. And so if you get a 60%, it's not going to count towards your grade as a 60%. All I'm looking for is a participation of 8 tests. So if you're the kind of person that's trying to skim by and you're trying to get by with the very least at all, go ahead and just click C on every one of them if that's what you want to do, but you're not really learning. So the idea is that you learn. You attempt 8 of those with at least, I'm going to say at least a 50%. So obviously if you go through and you just start clicking and you get a 10%, I'm not going to count that as an attempt. I can also see the time that you put on those. So if you go through and do one of these tests in 12 minutes, that's not going to count. But, if you're making legit attempts, 100% on each one of these is what you're going to get. So each one counts for 100 points, and it's just that you're participating in doing those. So the grade that you get will be upped at the end of the semester based on completion of those tests. Then beyond that, that's it, other than the final grade, which is kind of like the registration. You just upload your results. And so when you get your test, when you complete your test, you'll get a paper, and that paper will say pass or fail. If you fail, it'll give you a percentage. If you pass, it'll just say pass. I need that paper. So I need that emailed to me you can email it to me. It's fine, but I need that in Blackboard as well for your grade. You can snap a shot of it with your phone and convert that to a PDF. I don't want just pictures, but there are plenty of apps that you can get that you can do uh, scan or picture, scan converts a picture to a scan copy to a PDF. You can use a scanner, you can use, whatever, but don't just send me a picture to my email. Don't just text me a picture if you have my phone number. I actually need you to give me that in Blackboard, and if you want to send it to my email, that's fine as well. It'd be good to have that on file. I would like to have both, actually, especially if you're one of my students, because I do have to turn those in. So, but anyway, that's your final. Once you've done that, it doesn't matter if you scheduled your test for June the 30th and you pass it, you're done. If you've completed all the other stuff that you're required to do, you're done. And so you may get done with this class early. I'm not going to assign a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to make you do busy work. The whole purpose of this is for you to get that test attempted and hopefully passed. If you do it once and you don't pass it, within 10 days, you can take it again. So my thought would be go ahead and reschedule it and try to take it again. So that's up to you. That's going to be totally, you're only required to do it once. If you do the 8 tests, you do the other modules up here, the little small quizzes on those, and you attempt the journeyman test, and you submit all that stuff, I see no reason why you won't get an A or B in this class at the very worst. I'm not going to, give you a C just because you got C's on these practice tests. So if you don't do it or you don't submit this stuff, then you're going to get zeros. So it's all or nothing on a lot of this. So you know how that goes. Get it done, and it's easy. But if you don't, it's, a bunch of zeros hurt pretty bad. That being said, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, let me know. But other than that, just start working through these tests and getting familiar with those books, and good luck.